My dear student, I am welcoming you all to my channel. So, in the previous session, we discussed about short answer and long answer about antidote poisoning. So, this class will see the continuation of the objective type. What are the type of questions we may expect from fill-ups and objective type. We'll discuss. This will help you to understand the antidote poisoning. First, we'll see the fill in the blank. So dash is used to counteract the poison. So what is meant by what dash is used to counteract the poison? That means antidote is used to counteract the. What is the first answer for this one? Antidote to counteract the used to counteract the poison. Next, cyanide poisoning kit contains. In discussion, I told you there is the cyanide poisoning kit available in the medical shop. It consists of or it composed of amyl nitrite, sodium nitrite, and sodium thiosulfate. What is the kit? Poisoning kit means it contains three pharmaceutical inorganic substance. What are they? Amyl nitrite and sodium nitrate and sodium thiosulfate. Then cyanide poisoning has a characteristic odor of bitter almond, that I already told you. Even the almond peel of bitter almond also, if we ingested that bitter almond also, the person leads to cause death or illness. So why? Because it has cyanide. Okay. So next, dash therapy is used for lead poisoning. Usually for lead poisoning we are going to use the substance which will form the complex formation. So what are all the pharmaceutical inorganic substance which will form a chelation or complexation? That is nothing but sodium editate, or next one dimercaprol. So these two chelation or make a complex formation. So this chelation therapy or which inorganic substance to make a complex formation? So that is nothing but chelation or complex. So mainly lead poisoning for that chelation therapy here. Next, chemical antidote act by changing the dash of the nature. Chemical means, so you should understand that it changes their chemical nature. What is that? Chemical antidote means it changes the chemical nature. So chemical nature of the poison. Then activated charcoal. Remember that activated charcoal mechanically, which will absorb, there is no use at all. It will immediately the person ingested by the poison means. So what is our aim to giving activated charcoal here means which will absorb the poisons mechanically. So activated charcoal is used to absorb the what is the answer here? Absorb the medicine, absorb the poison from the stomach. Next, dash is the example of physiological antidote. Physiological antidote means you should remember that sodium nitrite. So sodium NaNO2. And for medical and chemical antidote means, so you should give the answer for that sodium thiosulfate. Okay. So next, what is the molecular formula? That's why I am repeatedly saying you what is the molecular formula for sodium thiosulfate. Na2S2O3. Okay. So now once again I will repeat you. Dash is used to counteract the poison. Antidote is used to counteract the poison. Cyanide poisoning kit contains, what are that? Amyl nitrite. Okay. Next, sodium nitrite and sodium thiosulfate. Next, cyanide poisoning as a characteristic odor of what? Bitter almond. Dash therapy is used for lead poisoning. Chelation therapy. Next, chemical antidote act by changing the chemical nature of the poison. Next question, activated charcoal is used to only absorb the poison. Dash is the example of physiological sodium nitrite. Dash is the molecular formula for sodium thiosulfate Na2H2O3. Next we'll see about multiple choice question. This also will help you to understand the concept of or to go through the antidote poisoning chapter. So an important antidote in the treatment of cyanide poison is, what is that? Sodium thiosulfate. I told you repeatedly, I told you the priority goes to sodium thiosulfate, and although hence that sodium nitrite also to be used for cyanide poisoning, but the priority goes to sodium thiosulfate. But also here the option doesn't give sodium nitrate, so the choice goes to sodium thiosulfate. Next, in case of poisoning, activated charcoal act to reduce the absorption of the poison by binding to the poison molecule, thereby to reduce the absorption by the inner wall of the stomach. Okay. So next, third option is the correct option. Then next, when poison is inhaled, with what method you will thinking of manage the case? In what method? So when a poison is inhaled, what is the condition? The poison is inhaled. So how do you treat in case of the person inhaled means? So we will go with that option C and D, E both, like C and D carrying out a gastric lavage or thinking of an activate elimination technique, okay, or sorry, carrying out the or administration of, that means induction of emesis, or with that carrying out a gastric, that is supportive therapy. Okay, so next one, so the option is the E option, that means both B and C, D, not C, B and D, that is carrying out a gastric lavage and administration of antidote, that means induction of emesis, so that the person can immediately expel the excess of poison from, that means the ingested poison from the stomach. Okay, so next question, an antidote is used to counteract the choice of the answer, to counteract the poison. Which of the following antidote is not used in cyanide poisoning? Is not, once again understand that which of the following antidote is not used in cyanide poisoning. We know already about cyanide poisoning means sodium nitrite and sodium thiosulfate. So here what is the question? Not used in cyanide poisoning. So the option is hydroxycobalamin and sodium nitrate and timercaprol also to be used. So here the three become answer, but here there is no answer given to you, E. So suppose if it is E is there, so all those three, so except sodium nitrate is the option for this one. Okay, next, this is a question somehow went wrong, so we have to give the option for all those three except sodium nitrite. Okay, next, which kind of antidote reduce the poison across the intestinal wall? Reduce the question you should understand properly. What kind of antidote reduce the poison across the intestinal wall? I already told you, like activated charcoal, which will prevent the absorption. So immediately the person ingested by the poison case means we have to treat them with the activated charcoal mechanically, so it will absorb the poison, so thereby it reduces the interaction with the inner wall of the stomach. So what is the correct choice of this one? Mechanical antidote. So option A is the correct answer for this one. So next, physiological antidote act by, so we'll see one by one. Physiological means physiological antidote act by absorption of poison, it comes under mechanical. Then changing the chemical nature, it comes under chemical antidote. Producing the effect of opposite to that of action is the correct answer. Next one, by countering the effect of action is nothing but antidote. So the option will be C is the correct option. Affect the opposite, that means physiologically it changes that overall it changes their nature. Okay, so producing the effects of opposite to that of poison is the correct answer for physiological antidote. Next, cyanide poisoning kit contains following. What are the three? Amyl nitrite, sodium nitrite, and sodium thiosulfate. This question also went wrong. So the option will be these three except sodium bicarbonate. But anyway, the option we should say not contain the following. If the question become not contain means, so this is the C become the correct answer. Otherwise the cyanide poisoning kit contains the following these three: sodium nitrate, sodium thiosulfate, and amyl nitrite. Okay, so how does, next question, how does mechanical antidote act? How does mechanical antidote act? By producing the effect opposite to that. This is comes under physiological antidote. That by preventing the absorption of poison into the body. Then by changing the chemical nature, by comes under chemical antidote. By changing the physiological nature. So the option will be second is the correct answer. So mechanical means absorb. You should remember that. Chemical means chemical nature, changing the chemical nature. Physiological means physiological action or quite opposite to that of action or physical nature of the actions. Okay, so the option will be for this question. So by preventing the absorption of poison into the body. Okay, so next we'll go for the 10th question. Which one of the following is an example of physiological antidote? Which one of the following is an example of physiological antidote? Physiological antidote, I told you sodium nitrite. Physiological sodium nitrite. Okay, and cyanide poisoning as a characteristic odor of bitter almond. And chemical nature means we should say, give an example for this one, sodium thiosulfate. Why? Because it changes the chemical nature. And for physiological means chemically that ferrous form of the hemoglobin to converting ferric form of methemoglobin. That previous session I already gave a much more explanation mechanism of action, so that you just go through with that previous session of my video, so you may understand that what is the mechanism of action, how it works well. So sodium nitrite is the example for physiological. This one is used for chemical nature. This one for mechanical antidote. This one chemical antidote, mechanical antidote, physiological antidotes. Here the copper sulfate act as a emetic, that means supportive therapy. Might be it will use for induction of emesis, so that the person can emesis the or expel the unwanted poisons. Okay, Next, the cyanide poisoning has a characteristic odor of bitter almond. Sodium nitrate is given a conjugation with, so what is the next answer? Sodium nitrate is given a conjugation with sodium bicarbonate or sodium thiosulfate or sodium calcium meditate or dimercaprol. So all are wrong answer here. And one more, there is a chancer. There is a method of preparation here will go with the sodium bicarbonate, and one not sodium bicarbonate, sodium carbonate. Here this is also, this question went wrong, so you leave about these questions. Okay, thank you.